Yeah, so yeah, just spent my second night in the van. Slept pretty well, to be fair. I stayed in the same spot as I did the previous night. There was a bloke there I noticed. He seemed to keep looking at my van. That was the day after the first night there, and then I got up this morning, went to leave, and I see him again. I don't know, he's in a silver estate. I think it's an Audi. Had like a holographic sticker on the back of a lobster or something like that. I don't know, it could be nothing. It could just be being nosy and me being a bit of para. If he works for the council or something like that, I don't see why he doesn't come over and say anything or say something to me. I don't know, weird. But there's no signs up or anything like that saying you can't park there overnight or anything, so yeah. Yeah, a bit of a surprise yesterday actually. Went and parked up at Poole and Bill. I was going to have another stroll around there, parked up, and I heard someone shouting, "You can't park there, you can't park there." I turned around, it was my dad. My mum, my dad, my nephew had come up, or come down. I mean, you're talking 3.5 hour drive. They just come down for the day. That was a big surprise to see them, but really good. Yeah, spent the day with them, so I didn't really get much footage. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I went for a chippy. Not cheap, but bloody nice. You know, go there every time I come down, really. The one near the harbour. God, I can't remember what it's called now. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I had the halloumi and chips, because I don't eat meat. Been a vegetarian for well over 10 years now. I'm not militant about it. My ex-missus, she ate meat whilst we were together. I see some horror stories, and I just thought, I'm a big animal lover, and I just thought, nah, I can't be. Hence the Linda McCartney burgers the other day as well. I thought I don't want to be part of that anymore. I am a big animal lover. I'll see some horrific things I just don't want to see ever again. And like I said, I don't mean to sound like I'm preaching. I'm just giving you my, my reasonings to it. Like I say, if people want to eat meat, they can eat meat. It's up to them. I used to eat meat, and yeah, it tastes good and everything. But it's just my personal choice. I mean, I can't preach because I'm not a vegan, because I tried it and I couldn't do it. So I've had vegans say to me before, because they can be militant, sometimes, oh, it's all or nothing sort of thing, and they ain't, that's rubbish. People just do what you want to do. But yeah, just trying to decide what to do today. I'm just by the prison again. There's a big mound next to the prison. I've gone up there and had a lie down, and I've made a cup of tea. And I'm going to make way to Poole, because we've got the market tomorrow. Really nervous, to be honest with you. Really strange. I've obviously done markets before, but I don't know why. It's been a while. I don't think I've done any this year, thinking about it for one thing and another. But yeah, pretty nervous about that, to be fair. But I'll make my way to Poole later on and stay there the night, and then I haven't got to do all the travelling in the morning to get there. Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, I might have a little bit of research in a minute, see whether it's worth going early and doing a few things in Poole. The market is today, it's Thursday, Friday and Saturday, so I might go to the market and suss it out. That might put my nerves at rest a little bit, at ease a little bit. Yeah, I might do that. So I can't remember what time it closes. It finishes. I've written it all down with a notepad. Yeah. So I'll have this tea, go back to the van, have a little think about what to do, and and yeah, and get onto it, like. Take it easy. Helicopter out there. I've tried putting the GoPro through the binoculars I spent and got. Oh, here we go. That. Yeah. I don't know what it's doing. Training exercise or something. I don't know. Yeah, very strange. I noticed he's hanging around, so I went down and got a packet of crisps, and that is what they're eating now. Suppose the seagulls aren't coming in, just hoovered them all up, but no. It's looking down at the horse field where I was feeding the horses the other night. I think they've actually been moved now because there's no grass for them to eat really. It's all just dry, you know, completely dried up. I did notice them in a field further up, and the fence where I was feeding them, the barbed wire fence, like completely flattened down in that corner. It looks like they could have easily just got out, so they were probably, I don't know, reaching over to actually get grass. And I don't know though, because there's some hedges down there that they could probably eat from. I don't know. Look at that! Look how dried our hair is. Yeah, it's been a hot, dry summer. It certainly has. You notice some portaloos down there. I was thinking, oh okay, yeah, I can go and use those toilets. There's the old prison. I can't see it still being in use. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google it, find out. But yeah, I see them. They've been turned so the doors are facing each other, so you can't use them. And that's something that kind of annoys me with this country these days, where if you needed to go to the toilet around here, it is in a sense kind of remote in a certain way. Yeah, it's accessible through roads and what have you, but you know, if you've got kids or whatever and you needed, you know, one of them needed to go to the toilet, you can't because they've been turned. I mean, if I needed to go to the toilet bad enough and there was no other means, I'd be turning them by hand. And it just annoys me a little bit in this country these days, you know. The powers that be, they never want to do you a favour, you know, and just do something for just purely through your convenience, you know, unless you pay for it. Parking, you know, Chesil Beach, I can't remember what it was now, it was like £4 for an hour or 2 hours or something. It's not like you can park up and just you're forced to pay it because you can't park somewhere like in a street somewhere and then walk it because it's a hell of a trek. I think there was some free parking further down, so I'll look into that at some point, but it's just made me realise moving around from one spot to another, it's you're going to see sort of like nature or natural wonders and stuff like that, and even then you're getting bloody charged for it. People are still wanting your money. It really pisses me off. I don't know. There's a cafe there as well, so you kind of think, well, you know, the cafe, because I personally think, well, I've just spent £4 on parking, so I'm not going to go to the cafe now because I've already spent enough. But it's like the town centres. I don't know about anybody else, but where I live, it's dying, and yeah, it's full of bloody barbers. barber shops. There's 3 in a row down one street. It's a piss take. But there's nothing interesting there anymore. There's a lot of closed shops and things. And they say the town centre's dying. And again, it's because of parking and stuff like that, you know. And it's a complete piss take, because you got these low emission zones, or whatever they call it, to try and encourage people to not drive, take public transport, whatever. Again, council's trying to get money out of you. That's a load of bollocks, because is it Gatwick or Heathrow, or both of them? They're on about putting another runway in, which would put about 200,000 flights in the air, and they're worried about people driving around cities in their cars. It's an absolute piss take, you know. And that's all down. I know people that have bought newer cars to get out of the, you know, if it's I don't know, is it from 2008 upwards or something? I can't remember what it is. You don't get charged, so they're forcing your hand into spending money on buying new cars, and electric cars as well, which I'm not convinced about currently. And these things always come around. It's like curved TVs. Where are they these days? Everyone was going up, curved TVs, awesome. Everyone was going up buying curved TVs, 3D TVs. These now electric cars, and there's so much money in the car industry, the motor industry, that it's just a big bloody rip, I think, personally. You know, they're just, everybody's after your money, and everybody's struggling. And if you want to try and find a way out of the rat race, they make it hard for you. You know. Yeah, you should be able to live how you like, I think, within reason. You know, if you want to go and live in a van or live on a narrow boat, live in a bloody tent. You should be able to do it. I mean, it's like I do a lot of wild camping. Never been told to move on or anything. I'm very, leave no trace, and I tend to go to areas where it's very well tucked away and very overgrown. You wouldn't go for a walk down there. You'd be tripping over brambles and all sorts of shit. Even then, you know, you can't go to a piece of land. Okay, farmlands, fair enough. You know, farmers own that land. People's back gardens and stuff, yeah, granted. But you think, well, where is this wild land where you can just go and set up a tent, camp the night, and leave no trace and bugger off again? You can't even do that. Everything's owned by somebody. They can, but you're not supposed to. And it just sort of gets you down a little bit, really. You know, I mean, them toilets, they can't be bothered to pay someone from the council to come and empty those toilets once a day or whatever. I'll see it where I live, my hometown. Bins overflowing, shrubs and stuff growing out of sides of people's houses, paths, public paths. I mean, if anyone wants to put in a little bloody claim, go and walk down the estate near where I live, and I'm sure other estates are like it. Go and trip over a shrub or something sticking out of a bloody path and put in a bloody claim. They can't be asked now, the councils, to even do stuff like that. You know, you pay all this council tax. What are they doing? It's an absolute piss take. It really is. But yeah, there you go. You know, a little bit of a rant there, but one of the reasons why I've picked an alternative life, alternative style of living. I lived on a narrow boat 10 years now. I'm doing the van thing. See how it goes. Hopefully the powers that be leave me alone. Yeah. Just got a little bit of shopping from Tesco's. Emptied my bins into their bins. Use their toilet facilities, why not? One thing I'm finding so far with the van life, it's a lot easier than boat life, canal life. Like, my mooring was pretty decent. It was 100 yards from a Elson point and communal bins and a water point, but it was still a bit of a pain, especially reversing the boat. They're not built for reversing those. 57-foot narrowboat it was. I used to do my nut reversing it. Sometimes it'd fly it there, other times it'd go every direction apart from the one you wanted it to go in. It had a big water tank. Water would last a fair old whack, I suppose, especially when I split up with my now ex-missus. Obviously it lasted twice as long because she'd have like long showers and stuff like that, because she didn't have to reverse the bloody boat, you see, I did. So yeah, it would have been a different story, I think, if it was the other way around. Even like taking your rubbish to the bins and stuff, you'd have to carry it up the tow path, you know, and sling it in the bin, you know. Elson Point was a bit of a ball ache. It was a cassette toilet that I had, so you know, you're having to sort of bundle that through the boat. I dropped one once in the boat. Oh, it's terrible, it went bloody everywhere. Not cheap either, close to 200 quid for one of them bloody cassettes. Yeah, and then you got to wheel that up the tow path and empty it, and yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna have to do that in the van, in all fairness, but I can surely drive closer to places. You know, with the van you got a little bit more freedom, and you can obviously drive right up to the point. So I drove, you know, drove right up to the bin, took it out, slung it in the bin, rubbish. Same with shopping. I mean, even the shopping when I was on the boat, you know, you get like a few carrier bags for the shopping, and you've still got to carry those down the tow path. You know, it was quite tough, you know, living on the boat. I think I just adapted to it, and now I've moved on to the van. I'm comparing the two because they're quite similar, and it's making me realise that, you know, the boat life was a lot tougher. But yeah, you know, it's similar, but then at the same time it's completely different, you know. But yeah, well, anyway, done the shopping, fed the local stray cat, went and got some dreamies, so he was munching away on them. It had some water there, so I think they well looked at it. He said for the cats, so there must be others there that come over, but there was only one there when I looked. One thing what always bugs me with the meat substitute stuff, because also I don't eat meat, but I do like you know, some of them are pretty decent, some of them are a million miles away, but I've learned to adapt. But what always baffles me is that the meat substitute stuff is more expensive than the actual meat stuff, and it always baffles me, because surely there's more money cost involved in meat products. I mean, you've got to, I suppose they've got to purchase the cows, feed the cows, look after the cows in general, yeah, you know, I paid for them to be shipped off and slaughtered and prepared and the rest of it, and then processed a lot of the time. You know, packaged, processed, but then you compare that to meat substitutes, where it's just, I can assume it's like a machine mixing ingredients together, and then that's it. They don't encourage it. They don't encourage people to. I'm not saying it's a healthier diet. I don't really know. To be vegetarian, you would have kind of thought so, but then I suppose there's arguments that there's certain proteins and stuff like in meats that people need. But it's like, I buy that kombucha drink. I'm diabetic, so I try to sort of steer away from fizzy drinks, because even though most of them are sugar free now, they've got something in there that they stick in there. They didn't do the bottles in there, so 4 cans of kombucha, I think it was like £4.50 or something. I mean, it's insane, you know. Protein bars, you know, a box of protein bars, you're talking like £4 or something. You compare that to a pack of like Snickers or Mars bars or something like that, you know. You can see why people that are a little bit more hard up tend to have more health problems, you know, because if the food that's bad for you is a lot cheaper for some for some strange reason. Maybe that's intentional in some weird way that I don't know. They don't want people to. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist sometimes, and I probably think about things too deeply. But you kind of think that sometimes they don't want people to be retired for too long. I don't know. Yeah, that's the sort of faith I've got in like the powers that be and the governments and stuff like this. I'm no anarchist or anything, but I just see what I see, you know. And it's alright for all these rich people at the top of the ladder because they can go and buy all this organic, healthy stuff, you know. They're alright. The ones that are pulling the strings. Yeah, I'm going to have a little look now and have a little rant anyway. I'm going to have a little look and see what's the best plan, whether I go over to Poole now and find somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have a little look and go from there. Yeah, so I had plans of going to Lulworth Cove, Durdle door, all that lot. 10 quid they want parking for a van, minimum. £7. I thought I ain't paying. It's like what I was touching on what I said earlier. It's a fucking piss take. Do you know what I mean? It's a natural wonder, piece of nature, and people are profiteering on it. You know. And the funny thing is, they've got like cafes and stuff like that there. So you spend money on your parking, and then they want money off of you for bloody cups of tea and ice cream and all that and the rest of it. So I was driving around bloody here, there and everywhere. Funny part is I probably spent more than £10 on fuel trying to find somewhere free to park. But no, I mean there's a village, was it Lulworth village? It probably was, the bit further down where actual Lulworth Cove is. And I tell you what, it's beautiful around there. It is. I mean, I've been to the Lulworth, and to be fair, it was so busy. I'm thinking that the beaches are just going to be so busy anyway. But yeah, I even wanted to stop. I wanted just to stop and take some pictures of the old cottages. You know what I mean? The thatch roofed cottages. They're just stunning down there. So nice, but it's just. It's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Like I say, you know, 10 quid. I drove in there and see the prices and drove back out again because they didn't state the prices on the way in. So hopefully, because all this bloody number plate recognition, I'm not still going to get charged or whatever for it. But I can't see how they can because they didn't state the prices before I got in there. But I just thought, out of principle, I'm not paying that. One thing I've realised with van life is how much you get screwed for parking. I mean, places like Chesil Beach, just a bit of land, put a little flipping chain fence around it, and that's it. Wallet, park there. Why do they have to charge for that? You know, it really pisses me off. It really does. Like I say, everyone's on the take. You want to go and see a beautiful beach that was created millions of years ago, way before humans were even a thing. You know what I mean? And then you got someone there cashing in on it. You know, it's a piss take. It's disgusting. It really fucking pisses me off, to be fair, because I really wanted to see the village, and I wanted to see Lulworth Cove, and I wanted to go and see Durdle Door, and I couldn't because of that. Someone wants your money, and it's just principle for me. 10 quid, 3 quid or something. Yeah, I would have paid for it. Tenner. And that was the minimum. I can't remember what that was for, 1 or 2 hours. And it looked like a bit of a walk as well, to go from Durdle Door, from the car park, it looked like a bit of a walk, and then goes to Lulworth Cove. You're going to be pushing it, so you're going to be, if you spend just a tenner on, I can't remember what it was now, 2 hours say, you ain't going to be able to relax. You certainly wouldn't be, I mean, I weren't going to go in the sea anyway, but you couldn't have a dip or anything like that. Do you know what I mean, really? I've just pulled over now, a bit further, a few miles down the road, church car park, and just gonna have a cup of tea.
But yeah, it's one of them, innit, you know what I mean? Pay it or miss out, you know. And yeah, it's just the way this country's going, unfortunately. Yeah, pay to get in here, pay to get in there. If it was something that they'd built and constructed, I could understand it, but it's a beach. Freaking beach, do you know what I mean? And it's not like you can... They've got you by the bollocks, really, places like that, because it's quite secluded to a point where you can't really park in a town or something like that and walk. I went down into the Lulworth village, I can only assume it is. I didn't, you know, I went up and down that road God knows how many times. And it's also what pisses me off is the way people park. You know, if everyone was to just sort of like nudge up a little bit more, you could have got a few more cat vehicles in there. You know, it's almost like a tease. There was one where I was just like, oh, could I get in there? I probably maybe could have done, but then you're holding up all the traffic and everything like that, and yeah, a bit pissed off really. But oh well, killed a bit of time. And like I say, the funny part is I probably spent over £10. I haven't. I don't think I have spent more than £10 in fuel, but yeah, but it's a piss take. It really is. You're basically paying to go on a beach. You know what I mean? They do what they want, I suppose. And I'll see where I can go for my next stop. Yeah, well, it's the end of that venture. Okay, I'm gonna have a nice cup of tea now and chill out. Yeah, so I've found somewhere to park up for the day or the night. £2.50 for 10 hours. That's not bad. I'll be gone by, well, I'll have to check what time the market starts, but I'll be gone long before then. That 10 hours is up. Literally just like a 30-second walk from where I've parked. It's comes out into this beach, little beach area. I think it's called Pier Lake or something, but it looks tidal, so I suppose some lakes can be tidal, can't they? I suppose, isn't they? I think more like an estuary or something like that. Yeah. Little seagulls making a little racket. Just like a little feeding ground for them. There's loads of shells and there's a dead crab. There's a crab's leg there. And there. So, oh yeah, there's a bit of crab there. Yeah, so it's good, especially once the tide's out. I suppose it's a good little feeding ground for them. Yeah, I'll stay here tonight and probably tomorrow night as well, because I've got doing the market for 2 days. Yeah, nice little spot. What a pig. Yeah, so I'll pop down for a little evening cup of tea down here I've had, and my non-alcoholic lager. It's a really nice spot. It's kind of like an estuary. And then just up there is where the van is, a parking area, which is like £2.50 for 10 hours, something like that. And yeah, it's pretty decent, man. Decent spot. It's pretty packed. You know, so you know, you have to make like 50 quid a night or something like that. The amount of vehicles that are up there, you know, why not? Yeah, I thought I'd come down here and chill out for a little bit, make my way up and get prepared for tomorrow market. A bit nervous for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah, the reason I don't tend to drink alcohol anymore. Very, very rarely. I think I've had 1 drink in the last 9 or 10 months. That was at Oasis concert. Yeah, just got to the point now where I've had 1 too many hangovers, especially when like I've had a lot of problems with depression and stuff like that. The last thing you want when you're feeling down anyway is to wake up the next day and feel like that's just shit for the next 2 days or whatever. You know, it's just not worth it. So those days are behind me, I think. Going out and getting, wasn't a bad drunk or anything like that. just, well, the last session I went on was a record fair, and I got encouraged to go out around Digbeth and Birmingham. I didn't get into about, well, I booked a last minute hotel, so that was expensive. Then I got back to the hotel, which was a £15 taxi drive away. Yeah, got up the next day, left my records at the record fair, and to be fair, the lady that ran that area, I think she's a little bit pissed with power, to be fair. Did get that vibe from her, and she made a big mound out of a marble hill because I didn't come and pick the records up, because basically I felt so rough. I stayed an extra night at the hotel. I thought, I can't drive. You know, when you wake up the day after, you're like, I've still got a lot of alcohol in my system, I cannot drive, it's a bad idea. So I booked another hotel, so that was more expense. She kicked up a big massive stink about it, and I was just like, well, you know, what do you want me to do? Drink and drive? She made an unnecessary big deal out of it, and the guy that ran the record fair, then he got it in the neck as well. It was just a right big ball ache in the end. I mean, I made quite a bit of money on that record fair, but I was well out of pocket by the end of it, with taxis, going out, booking 2 nights in a hotel in the end. And I was well out of pocket, and I think it was then I started getting real bad pains. And I eventually, God, what a ball ache that was, I eventually got some tests and stuff like that done, and I had, what's it called, polyp or something on the gallbladder and an inflamed spleen, which was probably down to the binge drinking, because as they say, the binge drinking's worse than, you know, like the constant flow. And that was just then, I was just like, you know what was the point in that? I lost loads of money, people got upset. I ended up in hospital, really. I ended up staying in hospital, but I had to have a ultrasound, is it? You know, that's when they picked that up, and I was quite concerned, to be fair, you know, with the pains I was having and everything. It was really weird, because I was on holiday about a month or so back, and I was in the sea, and I was just like, hold on a minute, my gallbladder doesn't hurt. It just sort of cleared up, not completely, but like if I pressed it, I'd hit the roof. Do you know what I mean? It'd be really, really painful. So I don't know if it was something to do with the flight, I don't know, but it just seemed to just clear up on its own out of nowhere. And then the inflamed spleen, that was a bit of a worry, and it just ain't worth it. You get to a certain point in your life and you think, you know, I've had one hangover too many now, days off work, and it's, like I say, you're feeling depressed anyway, you wake up with a hangover, it just makes you feel so shit. Just makes you not want to exist, you know. It really messes with your head, for me anyway. I think you just feel so dark, and yeah, I just thought, like, you know, I had a drink at the Oasis concert at Wembley. I went twice. I went to Cardiff, didn't have a drink, so that was good. And I went to Wembley, and I was having shandies, and my mate was having, obviously, straight beers, and we were getting 4 at a time in them trays, 2 each. And on 2 occasions they didn't give shandy, they gave just normal lager, so it was like 4 pints for me, and then a few shandies, probably equivalent to 5 pints. Still felt ropey the next day, but it was good, it was alright every now and then, you know what I mean. But as far as going out and getting livid now, doesn't appeal to me at all, I'm afraid. Nah, that's it, those days are gone. Yeah, so I'm on this stuff now, which massively smells like weed when you first open it, which is another thing I knocked on the head as well. I suspect weed really heavy, which stopped me from drinking, to be honest with you, because I started smoking weed really like that every day. I never wasn't stoned unless I was at work. That stopped me from drinking though, because I think anyone I know that alcohol and marijuana don't mix together very well. It's a good recipe for a whitey, which is fucking horrific. If anyone's had one. But I decided to knock that on the head as well. Weeds, I can have a drink. I could give it 6 months, a year, and have a drink, and I know that I could go another 6 months, a year without drink. Weed, I think if I bought a 20, something like that, that'd be gone. And then I'd be like, I don't trust myself not to. Got me through some really difficult times, I must say, like sleep deprivation and stuff like that. It really did. You know, it's not for some people, but for me, it did help out. I'm not gonna lie. It really relaxed me. I was a lot more confident in myself. I'd be more chatty, like with the markets and stuff. I had no nerves. Now I'm kind of. I think it's because you left your own reality, your own real reality. You know, it's not being misted over or blurred or by something or other. But yeah, you know, I've knocked that on the head now. You can't carry on like that. Can't risk it either, driving. You know, I'm doing a lot of driving now in the van, and they were doing, especially over Christmas time, doing so many random alcohol and drug tests, pulling people over, and I just thought, I can't risk it. You know, I'd never drive while stoned, but you know, it stays in the system for quite a long time, and I weren't quite sure where the law stands on that. But I'm just gonna knock it on the head anyway. You know, I can't carry on like that all my life. But yes, I'm pretty much teetotal now. Boring, but you know, you've got to call it a day sometime in your life, haven't you? But just finish off watching the sunset here. Yeah, looks nice, doesn't it? Finished my beer, well, my zero alcohol beer, and yeah, and I'll head back and start planning what I'm going to do tomorrow. It's only 9 till 3. That's made me feel a bit better, to be fair, because then it's not like till 5 o'clock. I don't know, it's really freaking a bit anxious about it, but I'm sure it'll be alright. Anyway, yeah, I'll enjoy my rest of my beer, and I'll be out with that. It's true what they say, man, when you're doing a vlog, your vocabulary just like goes to shit. I think it's like because you're so afraid to pronounce something incorrectly that you, just like when you're having a conversation with somebody and you're nervous, you start sort of stumbling over your words and stuff like that, don't you? But yeah, your vocabulary really does sort of, I mean, mine's not fantastic anyway, but yeah, it does hit the fan a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to nip off now and watch this. Oh, look nice. Beautiful. Lovely place to live, this would be.